everybody, I am Lovable Hatsune Miku, and in today's video I will be telling you guys about why I love and adore Hatsune Miku so much. This video might be long depending on how much I go into detail and what it was like in my past and stuff like that. It's a little bit sad in some parts, and I will warn you, it kind of does get depressing in halfway through the story. So I hope it doesn't bother you too much. So without any further ado, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so who is Hatsune Miku, and why do I like her so much? Well, Hatsune Miku is a Japanese fictional singer, and she is from a software called Vocaloid. She's an android and a Vocaloid, which is why you put it together and you get Vocaloid, because, you know, it's a software and you can make any kind of music you want with her, and, you know, she can speak in English too, depending on which software you have. So, yeah, I'm not going to get into too much detail about who she is. You guys can look that up for yourselves. So, let's talk about how I became a fan of Hatsune Miku in the first place. So let's go all the way back to 2013. So I was in grade 7 at the time. I was probably 13, I think, too. So my friends one day told me to look up this girl called Hatsune Miku, and I was like, why do I have to do it? And they were like, just do it. So they did. So I checked out one of her videos. I think it was Ivan Polka, the first Hatsune Miku song I ever heard and listened to. So I checked it out and I watched it, and I was like, okay, that was okay, I guess. So to be honest, I actually really didn't care about Hatsune Miku that much when I first started, and I know I suck for saying that, but hey. So my friends kept asking me, like, and you know, like, did I like Vocaloid yet? And I was like, no, not really. I didn't really care for it. So I thought, okay, let's give it another shot. Like, I knew there were other Vocaloids, so I looked at the Vocaloids, and I saw a picture of Rin Kagamine, and I was like, hello, who is this? I thought she was really adorable because the bow is kind of what got me interested. I was like, oh my god, she's really cute. So I looked at videos of Rin Kagamine, like her songs. I think the first song I heard from Rin was Meltdown, actually. Very old song. It's very good too. It's very catchy. So I started listening to all the Rin Kagamine songs, and it was awesome. So for the longest time, Rin was my favorite Vocaloid. I listened to most of her songs, and I guess a little bit of Len's songs, because sometimes Rin would get paired up with Len, and that makes sense because, you know, they're actually mirrored images of themselves, but people can assume they're brother or sister. I personally think they're brother and sister, but the creator for Rin and Len said you can make them to be whatever they want, like whatever you want them to be, so I've always seen them as brother and sister, even though they're mirrored images of each other, meaning like opposite, you know. But hey, that's just my opinion. I also listen to other songs too, like from Luca, like Just Be Friends and stuff like that. Actually, Luca, I don't really listen to many of her songs. She's an okay Vocaloid. Meiko, she's definitely the Vocaloid that gets the least love in the fandom, I feel like. And that kind of sucks because I think she's really funny because, you know, she gets drunk a lot and stuff like that, but Kaito, I don't really care about that much because, you know, I mean, he's an okay Vocaloid, but kind of sounds like I've seen like memes of Kaito kind of sounding like Kermit the Frog, but in Japanese. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of true. So yeah, Rin was my favorite Vocaloid for the longest time. I thought she was just so cute. I thought she was like the best thing ever. But then I kind of thought, like, okay, let's give this Miku girl a chance. Because again, I didn't really care for Miku that much because it didn't click with me for some reason. So I guess I just started listening to some of her songs like Graffiti, Odds and Ends, Puppy Puppy Po, World Is Mine, Rolling Girl, and I think that's when I started getting into Miku, was when I was listening to some of her most popular songs, like, you know, Rolling Girl and World's End's Dance Hall, and I was like, okay, she's actually kind of cool. Oh, and also Secret Police and Cat Food, you know, all the good classic games from the arcade or Future Tone games. Those are really classic songs. So I was like, okay, she's actually kind of cool. So I guess I started listening to more and more of her songs, and I watched the concerts, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I thought it was really cool, you know? And I think that's when I started, like, being more open-minded towards her. I was like, okay, I kind of feel bad for not liking her because, you know, she's actually kind of cute. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Miku is freaking adorable, and I think she's, like, the cutest thing ever. Also, back in 2013, that's when I actually started getting into Japanese songs because people always judge me for not liking, well, not so much liking, but not listening to English music. It's so annoying. Like, people ask me, like, oh, what kind of music are you into? And I'm like, oh, I'm into, like, Japanese and Korean music. And they're like, okay, why do you like that? Like, can you understand what they're saying? Like, how can you like that? And I'm like, just because I can't understand what they're saying in the song doesn't mean I can't enjoy a song. Like, who says you have to understand what they're saying in a song to enjoy it? Like, freaking, like, oh my god, it's so annoying. And then people think I'm weird for not liking English music. Like, what? Like, what's wrong with me, like, listening to Japanese and Korean music? And sometimes Chinese music. Like, just because I speak English doesn't mean I have to like English music or listen to it. Like, the way I saw it, like, when I was listening to English music, it was okay, but after a while, you start to hear all the same songs on the radio and on TV, and it kind of starts to get old, you know? And it's like an escalator, let's put it this way. I was, like, on an escalator, and it would only go up. Like, let's say, like, only English music and nothing else, just going up. It felt like I was on an escalator, like, I couldn't do anything about it. It was like, I'm so bored of doing this all the time. But when I started getting into, like, Hatsune Miku and Vocaloid music and Japanese music, it was like me jumping off the escalator and landing on the ground and, like, having a rainbow trail appear in front of me. That's how I would describe it when I would start listening to Japanese music for the first time. It was something new, it was something exciting, it was just so much, like, it, like, hit me all at once when I started listening to Hatsune Miku's songs. Like, it was like a burst of energy, like a rainbow just went through me almost, and I've been walking that path of happiness ever since. And it's kind of hard to explain, but that's what I feel like when I look at Hatsune Miku and I listen to her songs. It's like a rainbow. Like, it's like I'm sorry if I'm pausing so much, but it's hard to describe the amount of happiness I felt when I, you know, started getting more and more, like, attached to Hatsune Miku. It's like unlimited happiness almost when I listen to her music, and I watch, like, of course I watched, like, MMD videos, which is Miku Miku Dance, but even though there was, like, no, like sound coming out of the videos, it was just, like, the characters would talk, and there would be, like, Japanese, kanji or hiragana, kind of like subtitles. I didn't know what they were saying, but it was so much fun to watch, and it's such a big part of my childhood, Vocaloid. Also, once when I started collecting, I think I was 14, my best friend at the time bought me a Rin Kagamine plushie, and I was, oh my god, well, before she went to this anime convention thing or something, and she had this new friend at the time, and she took her instead of me, and I was like, you just met this girl, like, why are you taking her to, like, this anime convention instead of me? And she's like, oh, blah blah blah. I couldn't remember what she said, but I was pissed because I knew she was gonna get something. And the day of my 14th birthday, I believe, she wanted to show me something, so she brought me over to, like, our cubbies, like, where our bags are and stuff, and she showed me the Rin and Len Kagamine plushies she got. They were, like, tiny, and as soon as I saw the Rin Kagamine plushie, I was, like, dead inside. I was like, are you really just doing this just to, like, piss me off? Because she knew how much I loved Rin Kagamine. So I was like, okay, that's cool, like, you bought yourself a little Rin Kagamine plushie, and, like, even though you don't really care about Rin that much as I do, that's cool. I was, like, about to cry. I was like, oh, like, frick this, I'm out of here. So just as I was about to walk to the door to go to the learning center, she stopped me and said, this is for you. And I was like, what? She gave me the plushie, and she said, yeah, it's your birthday gift. And I was like, oh my god, like, that is the nicest thing anyone's ever given me, and it's still true. Like, that's the best gift you could give me for my birthday is Vocaloid merch. I will love you forever if you get me something Vocaloid related. Like, And it's funny because the day of my birthday I made this, like, cutout of Rin Kagamine to put on my cake, so I was like, that's perfectly themed. So ever since then I've been buying Vocaloid merch for 7 years, because I became a fan in 2013, so almost 8 years. And oh my god, I have so much merch. If you have not seen my Vocaloid video where I show you guys my Vocaloid merch and merchandise, I suggest you watch that video because it's cool to see, like, all the Vocaloid merch I've collected over the years, and, you know, it's a fun little way to show off, you know, my collection. Also, I bought Project Diva Mega Mix for the Switch, and I am so freaking happy I finally have that game. A little recap of the story here. That announcement for the game came back in 2019, I think, so I had to wait a whole year just to play that game. And at the time, I didn't have a Switch because, you know, when the Switch came out, I think that was in 2017, I was like, I don't need a Switch. But then I saw the trailer for Project Diva Mega Mix, and I was like, okay, now I need a Switch. It was like, dang it, they got me. It's like, if that game didn't come out, I wouldn't have a Switch, but they knew how to wrap me in. That's what they do. They make certain games for a certain console so you can buy it, and I saved up my money ever since from, I saved up my money for a couple of years actually. Well, actually a year, I guess. Saved it up, and it was really hard because there was a few things I saw in town that I actually wanted to buy, but I was like, stop it. You gotta save up that money for that Vocaloid game. I know you want it. Like, I saw this magazine with Blackpink on it, and I really wanted it because I love Blackpink, but I was like, no, just don't buy it. I was also in Toronto too, and Toronto has so many cool things in the mall during the winter time. I was like, freak, there were so many good things I want, but I can't. But I controlled myself. I saved up my money. I paid a lot of money for my Switch, actually. I paid $451 for my Switch, and that's probably the most expensive thing I've ever bought in my whole life. Because I've bought lots of expensive things, like I have bought a TV for $200 at Costco, but the Switch, that's probably the most expensive thing I've ever bought. So I bought the Switch a couple of days after my birthday, because the Japanese release for the game of Project Diva Mega Mix, or 39, whatever you want to call it, that came out on the 13th of February, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. The Project Diva game is coming out the day before the Sonic the Hedgehog movie comes out on Valentine's Day. It's like two things I love coming out at once. It was like so freaking cool. So I bought the Switch, and I had to wait longer because the English version for some reason didn't come out the same day as the Japanese version. And it was weird because usually when I buy the Vocaloid games, like for the PS Vita that I have for Project Diva F2nd, the day it came out, it was usually the same day as the Japanese release. So I thought, okay, like that's weird. So I went to EB Games to check if they had it, and I looked and I was like, okay, like where's the hardcover copy of the game? And I asked the cashier like if they had it in stock, and they were like, no, maybe it's on the eShop. And this was before I bought the Switch too. So I was like, okay. So I went all the way to Walmart, which was connected in the mall, and I walked all the way over there. It was, holy cow, so much walking. So I asked them, and I was like, do you have this game? And they were like, no, I don't think we have it. Like, that seems a little strange. And I was like, I was just so upset. I was like devastated because I was thinking I could finally like, you know, buy the game and have it, but then to realize it didn't come out the day it was supposed to, I was just so devastated. Oh my god. So I had to wait longer, and I was like, what the heck is going on? So once I did buy the Switch, I went to the eShop to check if there was like, you know, on the eShop, and it wasn't. And I was like, what the frick is going on here? I was just so pissed. It felt like as soon as I was close to finally thinking I could get the game and play it, it wouldn't be there. So finally on May 15th, they finally announced that the English version was coming out May 15th, and I was so freaking happy. So I downloaded it on the 13th, and it was like done. I bought the full expansion pack, meaning if you buy the one with not all of the songs on it, I think that one was like $44, meaning if you buy that version, you're not going to get all the songs you want. Like they come in like packs. I think 4 songs come in each, and they're like $11 each for like each set you buy. And I was like, frick that. So I bought the full expansion pack, meaning every song, like how many songs are on that game now? 141 songs, I think, or something, or 114 songs. So I bought the full expansion pack for $80, meaning every song in the trailer comes into that bundle. It's pretty expensive actually, but I hear in Japan they're actually getting ripped off in Japan because it's more expensive for some reason. I was like, oh, that's not good. Like, they're getting scammed on this. So I was like, oh, I feel bad for the Japanese. So they probably have to pay more money actually, I bet. But hey, $80 for a game, that's pretty expensive, because when I bought it for the PS Vita, I paid maybe like $50 for it, because PS Vita games aren't really that common. I might have paid $40 for it actually, because yes. So yeah, I bought the game, I was so happy, but I had to wait until the 15th to actually play it because I was like, frick this. So I waited, and I finally got to play the game after waiting a whole year. My first Switch game too. If you guys are wondering why I made that my first Switch game to ever play, and you know, I tortured myself, here's another story. When I saw the trailer for Project Diva F2nd, I really wanted it, and I didn't have a PS Vita because I knew I had to get a PS Vita. So I actually bought the game first, and I didn't have the Vita, so I think I waited, it was a couple of days. I remember because when I saw it in the store, it was at EB Games, and it was the last one, and when I saw it in stores, I was like, I was like so dead inside. I was like, holy cow. So I bought the game. I was so happy, but I didn't have the Vita, so I had to save up my money from Christmas, so I think I had to wait 2 weeks or even longer to, save up my money. And on the, no wait, I don't think it was, oh wait, because I bought it 2 weeks before we went to go see our family. There we go. So on the 27th of December, also Rin and Len's birthday, just want to point that out, we went to Chapters, and I was looking at the books, and they had a Vocaloid artwork book of Rin and Len. So I was like, oh my god, I was like just so happy, and I was like almost in tears. So I think I paid like $40 for that book. If you've seen my video of me showing off my Vocaloid collection, I show what it's like in the art book. So I bought it, and then we went to Toys R Us. Fun fact, we still have Toys R Us in Canada because, we're awesome. So I went to Toys R Us with my mom, and we looked at, they had a PS Vita, and it was the last one they had too. I can't remember how much I paid for it. Maybe $100 and something. I cannot remember, but it was the last one they had. And as soon as, I got the game, I went home, ran up to my room, locked myself in my bedroom, popped that game in, and I was just so happy. And that was the first game I ever bought for the PS Vita. So when Project Diva Mega Mix came to the Switch, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a Switch, and I'm gonna make that the first game I play for the Switch, the same I did for the Vita. So it's, if you think about it, it's kind of a cute little scenario. Like, I did it with the PS Vita, so I'm gonna do it with the Switch. And it's the only Switch game I own, and I'm probably gonna buy Splatoon 2. I want to buy Luigi's Mansion 3 because I have the second one for the 3DS. It's really fun. I know Okami is on the Switch. I'm thinking of maybe buying it, but I already have it for the Wii, and I've beaten it twice, so I think a Spyro game is on the Switch. I hope so, because I really want that Spyro game, Spyro's Trilogy or something, because I freaking love Spyro. So if that's on the Switch, I'll probably buy those games. And I don't know, but anyways, I got the game, and I'm so happy. I've been playing it for a couple of hours. And I'm really happy they included Reactor Rin, because I was really afraid they weren't going to put that model in, because when I saw the trailer, I didn't see the model for Reactor Rin, and I was actually really disappointed. I was like, oh, like, how could you? Because if you've seen my Rin Kagamine tribute, well, the Rin Kagamine top 10, my favorite models for Rin Kagamine, Reactor Rin takes the first place. That's my favorite model of Rin Kagamine. I don't know why, I've just always loved that model. Probably because Meltdown was the first Rin Kagamine song I heard, and she was in that outfit at the time, so I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I was really happy to see that she was actually in the game, and her model is actually not that expensive. I was like expecting to have to unlock it. Unlike Project Diva X, you have to play the game a couple of times to actually unlock the models, which I kind of found annoying. But in this game, you use up your Vocaloid, your points that you get from playing the game, and it's only like 600 points. So I was like, oh, that's cheap. It's like, frick yeah. So I got the Rin Kagamine model for all the games now. So that is my third Vocaloid game, because I have Project Diva F second. Not the first one, because I might buy it. I probably will. And I don't have the ones for the DS. Actually, I saw one for the DS, and for some reason I didn't buy it because I was stupid, I guess. But actually, my 3DS L and R, I think it was my R button, it doesn't work for some reason, so that's probably why I didn't buy it. So to be honest, I don't really like the looks of the Vocaloids as the chibi forms. I just don't like the big heads. It looks weird on Miku. Rin, it kind of looks okay on, but it's just like, I don't know. I might buy it. I probably will, because I'm a crazy Vocaloid fan, but yeah, I have Project Diva X for the Vita. It's fun, but I don't know if it's as good as the Project Diva F second one, because that was the first one I played. So now I have Project Diva Mega Mix, and it's really fun, and I'm probably going to play it after I'm done recording the video, actually. So yeah, sorry if I got off track there. I just wanted to explain to you guys about the whole game part, because I did post about me getting the game and how happy I was. So yeah, to be honest, when I actually see a Vocaloid merch in town, I just have the biggest smile on my face when I see Vocaloid merch. First Vocaloid merch I actually bought, like myself, the Rin Kagamine plushie doesn't count because someone got that for me. I went to Chapters, sad story, we don't have Chapters anymore. They turned it into what did they turn it into now? It's called Indigo, I think. Yeah, that's the name. So I went to Chapters and I was looking at the mangas or the mangas, whatever you want to call it, and I saw a Vocaloid manga. It was like Hatsune Miku unofficial mix or something, and I almost had a heart attack. So I was like, oh my god. So I bought the manga, I read it, it was so funny, and ever since then I've been collecting. Like, I just can't stop. Like, anytime I see Vocaloid merch in public or in town, or anything like to a keychain, I will freaking buy it no matter how much it costs. And I don't know why. It's just like, it's like I know I don't need it, but I still have to buy it, and it's like, I don't know why, but it just, I guess it just fills an empty void for me. So this is where the story starts to get a little bit dark. So if you guys have seen my whole video about what my life was like, I talk about this whole Kiyomi thing, and someone faked their death, and I got depressed, and I almost tried to kill myself, and it was really sad because I was really close, but my friends told me not to, so I started listening to them. But it didn't go away, my depression, just like, like super quick, just like that. It took a long time for my depression to go away. I almost had depression for almost a whole year, but during that time when I was depressed, I was kind of just thinking, like, like how could I make my depression go away? Because it was really hard, because all of my friends left me. I didn't have any friends at high school. I did it all by myself. I actually got through depression by myself, actually, because even when I went to therapy, like, I know my mom was trying to help, but just talking about my feelings just didn't make it better. It actually made it worse. So I found the way that I coped is that I would listen to lots of Vocaloid music, and like, that's how I kind of got better. I would just listen to the Vocaloid music. I would listen to lots of Miku tracks, mostly. Some of them were kind of depressing, like Rolling Girl I would listen to. And yes, people, I'm aware that Miku dies at the end of that song because it says that she wants to stop breathing. I know, like, listening to songs about dying doesn't really sound like a good thing to listen to, but when I was listening to it, it was like I was feeling pain, but with Miku in the song. And even though I didn't really know what they were saying, unless I looked up the lyrics, which I don't really care about the lyrics that much, I still listen to the song. It just felt like, hey, I'm not doing this, like, I'm not alone on this. But I know it sounds weird, but also playing the Vocaloid games helped a lot. Like, when I bought Project Diva F2nd, that helped me a lot because I was really going through a tough time. So when I would play it, it just felt, it was like an escape for me. And when I bought Project Diva X, my friend was kind of talking trash about me on the bus, so I would play it on the bus and I would just ignore what they were saying. And it was just so much fun playing the game and just trying to get perfect on the songs. And then when I would get perfect on like a song, I would just be so proud of myself, and then I would get like a new model. It was just so much fun, like, to test myself to see how good I would get at the game. And if you guys are wondering, no, I don't play the games just to get perfect on every song. I'm not like a person who goes like extreme on the songs. I just play for fun. I don't really care if I don't get it perfect on the song. But when I do get it perfect on the song, I'm like, heck yeah, I worked hard. But yeah, when I was playing the Vocaloid games, just listening to Miku songs and playing the games, and just, in the games you can like pet her and stuff and touch her and, like, give her gifts. It was like a connection. It felt like Miku was like my only friend. Like, even though I know, like, she's a fictional character, but at the time it just felt like it was the only person I could trust, because I was interacting with her, I was giving her gifts, I was petting her on the head. It just felt like, hey, you're the only person I can rely on right now. Because again, I got through depression by myself by listening to lots of music and just kind of shutting down my emotions when it comes to expressing my feelings and crying. Like, I don't cry as much as I used to. I'm just kind of like, like, actually, another way I got through depression was because, don't take this from me, don't do this if you're going through depression. I was kind of just, I was just like, F my feelings, like, honestly, F my feelings. So as soon as I would say that, I was just like, okay, I don't care, like, I don't care about my feelings, why should anyone else? Because, I don't know, it just felt like no one cared about my feelings, because my family members didn't ask if I was okay when I was going through depression, like my dad's side of the family. So I was like, okay, like, why should I care? Like, if no one else is gonna care, like, and I know my friends online did care, but it was like, it was already too late. Like, my mom told me, like, since I was born in the orphanage, she said a good example, like, like, a structure of the house, the thing that the house relies on, like the base. She says my structure wasn't complete when I was born, so as soon as something bad happens to me, it just falls apart. And that's actually a good example for me, actually. Like, it's true though, like, if something happens to me, I just fall apart really easily because the structure of the base that I'm built, I just fall apart too easily and I give up. So, like, I'm just so emotionally hurt. It's weird. Yeah, but just wanted to point that out. So I played the games a lot. I relied on her a lot. Watched a lot of Vocaloid videos too, because it just felt like, and there were other things that I did too. I would watch like MLP, and just, but it was mostly Vocaloid that helped me get through it actually, because I don't know why, but looking at Miku and seeing how happy she was with her friends and listening to the songs, not understanding what they were saying. I mean, I can understand what they're saying a little bit, but I don't care what they're saying. Just listening to her voice and watching her be so happy and be such a ray of sunshine, and that happiness I once felt when I first discovered her and actually gave her a chance is something I kind of got back when I was going through that tough time in my life. So I kind of wanted to give that back to the people of what I was feeling, that amount of happiness. That's why I chose the name Lovable Hatsune Miku, because I wanted to give back what I felt, and that's happiness. And it's probably never going to be the same amount of happiness she's given me that I give to you, but I'm trying. But yeah, Hatsune Miku, she's nothing like anything I've ever seen before. In my opinion, she's the best singer in the whole world. And you can disagree with me, that's just my personal opinion. I said personal 3 times, I'm aware of, because it really is my personal opinion. And I'm aware she's a Virgo, and also in my opinion, I think she's the best Virgo out there. All you Beyonce fans can come at me all you want. I think Hatsune Miku is like the best Virgo out there in my opinion. And that's saying a lot considering all of the friends I grew up with at school were all Virgos. But I don't know, like, she's just, it's like something about her. It's like she draws you to her, and it's like you can't stop. But that's okay, because I really love Hatsune Miku. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for her. And I probably wouldn't be the YouTuber I am if it wasn't for her, because she actually inspired me to start writing songs, and I've been writing songs ever since I was 16. So yeah, and I've become a little bit more outgoing because of her, because, definitely a big nerd, so you know me. But yeah, I feel like my connection with her is like more personal. It's like if something happens to her, I will fall apart. I rely on her to make me happy, even if it's just listening to her song or playing a game or just seeing a picture of her. Like, that's what keeps me going in life. And I know that sounds a little bit stupid, but it's the honest truth. Like, let me set an example. Like, in that show, like My Strange Addiction, or like people who eat to fill a void, and it's really annoying when I hear people just judge the person right away. It's like they see the person, they see the thing they're obsessed with or their addiction or whatever they're attached to, and people just right away, like 3 seconds flat, they just start judging. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with these people? Like, why are you judging the person? Like, when I watch that show, like My Strange Addiction or 600 Pound Life, I don't judge the person. I usually think like, okay, there was always going to be something that either something traumatic happened to them, or they didn't have a good childhood. There's always something that sets that off. Like, they don't just wake up and like, oh, I'm just gonna be attached to this item. No, usually there's always a traumatic, like, past childhood experience that makes them cope with something in the first place. Whether it be like they didn't get enough attention from their parents, they were sexually abused, they were made fun of, something happened to them at work or something. Like, you gotta think, like, there's always like an emotional trauma experience that causes the person to get attached to this item or eating habit or whatever they are addicted to. And that's kind of like with me, and why I'm so obsessed with Hatsune Miku, because again, when this whole Kiyomi thing happened, it was devastating to me, and it still haunts me to this day. It's something I'm never going to get over. I really don't like it. It's just, I can't escape it. Even though I have accepted it, and I did get the truth from the person, it's just something I'm never gonna forget, and I have major PTSD from it, and it's just something I have to deal with, and it sucks, but when I went through that depression in my life, that's what I coped with, was Vocaloid and Hatsune Miku. So try to understand a little bit, people, when you see someone addicted to something or they have an eating habit. Don't say they're fat, don't say they're stupid, don't say they're cringy, don't say they're retarded. Think first before you speak, because there is always going to be a reason why that person is the way they are. Don't judge. It's so annoying. I don't know why people don't... I don't know. So that's kind of how Hatsune Miku kind of helped me cope with my depression, because she really is the one thing that keeps me going in life. Like, there have been times in my life where I felt like killing myself a couple of times, but I don't know. I just think of Hatsune Miku and I'm just like, just do it for her. Like, even if I see, like, I remember one time on Discovery Channel there was this commercial and it showed Hatsune Miku on it, and I got excited really fast. I was like, oh my god, Hatsune Miku! I was like about to cry, and I've noticed that, like, anytime, like, another time Hatsune Miku appeared on this show for, like, History Erased, and they did Japan, and it was, like, the trailer, like, the commercial, and it showed Hatsune Miku, and I really flipped out. I was like, holy cow, and I did watch it. I was so happy to see Hatsune Miku on TV. I was like, oh my god. I was, like, freaking out. My mom's like, chill. I'm like, I'm sorry. But I've noticed that if I see Hatsune Miku on a commercial, I just get emotional, like, really fast. Like, my eyes start to tear up and I feel, like, so sad. It's either because I'm just really proud that I'm a fan of hers, or I just think about how much she's helped me through in life. And it's true. Like, she's helped me out so much in life, and I know she's a fictional character, but that's okay. And I know this is gonna sound really weird, but she's the most important thing in my life, and I kind of find happiness out of fictional things versus humans, because I've been let down so many times in the past by humans and people and by friends, and it's just like, I'm so done with it. But, like, with a fictional character, like anime, Sonic the Hedgehog, whatever you want to call it, Vocaloid, I just connect more with those things because, again, they can't hurt me. And my mom understands the way I am, because she knows, like, she's always known, like, when I was little, I was just always so attached to my stuffed toys, and she's like, you're attached to, like, inanimate objects because, you know, they can't hurt you. And I was like, yeah, that's right, Mom. I wish more people could understand that about me. Like, people think that, oh, like, I'm such a weird girl because I like inanimate, like, fictional things more than people. It's like, no. Like, there's a reason the way I obviously am. Like, again, I didn't have the best childhood, like, the first 2 experiences of my life. Again, I lived in an orphanage, and that messes people up if they come from, like, a place like that. And again, I have institutional autism, so that's another thing I have to deal with, but I hide it really well. But it's just the way I am. I just really love Hatsune Miku. I love her music. I love the fan art and the fan music from the fandom. I just love watching her. Even, like, it's like that with the other Vocaloids too, mostly Rin. Because if you think about it, Rin Kagemine, she's actually the real reason why I became a fan of Vocaloid in the first place, so there's something for you to know about. She's also my favorite Vocaloid. Rin and Miku are my favorite Vocaloids. The others are okay. I don't really care about the others that much. I mean, I like Len, he's pretty cool. He dies a lot in a lot of songs, but in my opinion, I think Rin dies the most in songs. I think Rin is like the queen of death. It's always sad when Miku dies in the song, though. I like cry. I'm like, no. Luca's okay. Meiko, I don't mind. Kaito, you know, he's an ice cream boy. My favorite Vocaloid ships are also Miku x Len and Miku x Rin, Luca x Gakpo, and Kaito x Meiko. Although someone told me one time that Gakpo and Gumi are brother and sister, I'm like, okay. I'm not sure if that's real or not, but I like Gumi too. And there's also the Utahs, like Teto, Neru, and Haku, and there's like a ton of other Vocaloids. There was just so many Vocaloids, including the English Vocaloids, if you count, like Sweet Anne and Big Al. Like, I'm not even going to try to name all the Vocaloids, and Utahs, but yeah. So I think that's basically how I became a fan of Hatsune Miku, and why I'm so attached to her. And I know it sounds kind of pathetic, but it's just the way I am. And trust me, if you like touch Vocaloid merch in my bedroom, or if you like misplace something that is Vocaloid related, I will give you a death glare. Like, I will freaking hurt you if you touch my Vocaloid merch. Like, even when I had my Miku plushie, I saw that she had a rip in her arm, and I freaked out so much. Normal people would just be like, oh, it's a rip. But with me, I take it very seriously because that's something I love a lot. And when I see it hurt, I will do everything in my power to fix it. And again, I know it sounds pathetic, but again, it's just the way I am, and I can't really seem to stop my addiction for Vocaloid merch, really. I have a lot of Vocaloid merch. Again, I suggest you watch the video on my Vocaloid collection. Is pretty cool. But I'm not ashamed of being a fan of Hatsune Miku. Like, I'm always going to be a fan of her for a long time, but, you know, it's just the way I am. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'm sorry this video was very long, but I just wanted to get into a lot of detail. So to put it into short words, I love Hatsune Miku because she's like a comfort thing to me. So yes, that's one of the reasons, and I just really love her a lot. I'm kind of like obsessed with her, but kind of like not unhealthy obsessed compared to like the guy who actually married Hatsune Miku. But again, I don't think it's weird. I actually accept it because in the video he said that something happened to him at work, like some girl or something said something mean to him, so he got depressed and he figured Hatsune Miku out, kind of the same like with me. So guys, don't judge him, don't give him any hate, just accept it, just love and tolerate, please. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the story, and let me know in the comments if you are a fan of Hatsune Miku or if you are emotionally attached to Hatsune Miku like I am. But yeah, that's how I became a fan of her. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video with a friend. And until then, I will see you next time. Goodbye.